Folks, how's everybody doing today? Rudy, Alpha Investments. I was going to spend some money and get a haircut, so I don't look like crazy homeless Rudy, but I decided to instead use that money to film a video today. Yes, it costs money for me to look at you guys. It's creepy and it's uncomfortable. Today we're talking about Pokemon. I got a lot of information, got a lot of interesting people who join the channel when I do these Pokemon videos about market updates. They find it very fascinating, especially when it comes to actually the printing situation. Expanding printer capacity between Carta Monday, even the Millennial Print Group, which remember, historically Carta Monday tends to focus more on the basic booster pack, booster box production, design, printing the actual cards in card stock quality, print, the actual wrapper, the actual sealed booster box, the wrapper around the sealed booster box. Remember, historically, Millennial Print Group, at least in the past, things could change, tends to focus more on the specialty items. Like the Pokemon, the big box sets and the big fancy plastic molds and packaging, But anyways, they both do have crossovers, but just kind of keep that in mind in this video. After I did a Pokemon video about a couple weeks ago, a lot of interesting people found it fascinating that with the expansion coming in the next 12 months of additional print capacity, what is that going to do to Pokemon product? What's going to do to the sealed product? What's it going to do to everything? Those are really well-received videos, very interesting conversations. So today, I want to take it a little step further. I'm going to go ahead and be blunt with everybody, okay? You may want to hear this, you may not want to hear this. If you're an evil scalper just standing outside Walmart all night flipping Pikachus to kids and adults, I don't know what you're doing. The point is, I want to at least tell you what I see from a straight-up financial perspective, whether you like it, you hate the evil scalpers, you hate people like me that don't get haircuts. Let me just tell you what's going on here. It's going to be a year until supply really ramps up to kind of force the market to cool off, throw that water on the fire. Now, let me explain, though, why I actually believe if you're in the Pokemon business and you're at a store, an LGS, or you're in your 15th floor apartment and you got like a string thing, you're bringing boxes up from the parking lot, whatever you're into, the risk level right now to Pokemon sealed product is the lowest risk, highest reward I've ever seen in a modern collectible hobby. I mean, we're talking it makes Magic the Gathering, it makes Digimon, Flesh and Bloods, and Force of Wills look like child's play, amateur, just, garbage. The Pokemon situation is such a black swan unique event, ladies and gentlemen. It's free Tendies. It is what, let me explain to you. I've been spending a lot of time, so I haven't made a video on Pokemon in a couple weeks. I've been really spending a lot of late nights analyzing, thinking about this, kind of, planning out in my head the different possible outcomes. What is the risk reward? What's the probability of each outcome? How bad could it get? How good could it be? What's the most likely scenario is what I spend a lot of time discussing with myself. And yes, folks, that's what I do. I put myself in a room, put mirrors around me, and as I talk, it looks like I'm talking back to myself. And if you don't wear clothes, you stare at yourself longer. Is that a little weird and uncomfortable? It probably is. That's probably why you're still watching right now. If you're a store and you're buying 120 boxes of Vivid Voltage, Darkness Ablaze, the new battle styles, some of these trainer boxes, the Shining Fates or Champions, whatever you're buying, let me lay it out for you all. In 12 to 18 months, when these additional capacities and printers and everything is back online, the world is more normalized, post-vaccine, post-2020 disaster, however you want to call it. By the time that comes and happens, Pokemon's are going to have 2, 3, 4 more additional sets come out. Okay? Now that's a very important variable that's not being discussed enough. Because by the time, remember, on this timeline, everybody visualize a timeline. As the window slides on this calendar, this timeline, and we go from 2020, first quarter 21, second quarter 21, third quarter 21, up fourth quarter holidays, up 2022. As we slide forward, the probability of farther and farther booster boxes backwards become less and less probable of a reprint. Okay? There's always going to be exceptions. Roaring Skies back in the day. People think Evolutions is going to be reprinted again. Ultra Prisms and different things. There's always going to be Black Swan exceptions that you can't use as an overall data set. Now, in a year to 12 to 18 months from now, when this happens, Pokemon's going to be so big, there's going to be so many newer sets, battle styles, and forward. Seriously, what's the actual risk of the boxes today in the last 12 months really tanking and crashing in price? And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I get a lot of messages of people saying, Rudy, I am not paying, I don't even know, $150 for Darkness Ablaze or, Vivid Voltage or Wait, what? The Bobs? What did the Bobs say? The Bobs said Vivid Voltage is 200. Fat Pikachu is 200. Jesus. Okay. I'm not willing to pay $150 a box for Pokemon, for Vivid Voltage and Darkness Ablaze or Base Set or this new battle style, whatever you want to pick on. I don't care. I'm going to wait for all the reprints and all the restocks to suppress and cool off the market. My concern remains this. By the time we hit that, Pokemon is not going to say, whoa, everybody, take half the printer capacity. Don't make the new product that people's excited about. Take half the printer capacity and only make the old product. That's really not how it works. When printer capacity is a strain and is being stretched to the limit between Magic, Flesh and Blood, and Pokemons and all these other smaller IPs, intellectual property, that is fighting for space and bidding and paying costs to Carta Monday and Millennial, what happens is the hot new releases always get priority. In Pokemon, in Magic, and all these companies are going to be expanding the new releases to make sure supply doesn't become a disaster. As you're aware, we're already getting multiple waves for each new release on everything. Magic, Pokemon, Digimon, you're seeing it in even Final Fantasy, Dragon Ball Super, you're seeing it in Force of Will, you're seeing it in even the Weiss world, you're seeing supply issues, and of course Flesh and Blood. Every category you're seeing it. Okay? So what I see happening right now, just to sum everything I've told you all into a bundle here, what I'm trying to get at is in 12 to 18 months, when the printers catch up and things go good, the prices of the booster boxes from right now and backwards. Now, as of the filming of this video, Battle Styles doesn't come out for another like 3-4 weeks because this is the end of February, for the record. So pretty much Darkness Ablaze, Vivid, base set, and then you go backwards to Sun and Moon or Sword and Shield of any set you want. There's really XY era, even if they reprint some of that again, which they've already reprinted to oblivion, there's not enough downward pressure to cool the market off. The amount of this product that was physically opened, the amount of stores, this is something I've been complaining about with Magic the Gathering. This is something that Pokemon in Flesh and Blood and Digimon and these other card games are getting correct because they have a healthy secondary market. Magic has been struggling with a secondary market on new product because everything's flashy and everything's worth pennies. So they're actually struggling with it. So the thing is, by the time this printing capacity increases, it's not going to be enough downward pressure on the older boxes. And as we go forward, another 12 to 18 months, the risk of Sun and Moon era boxes, or even Sword and Shield base, is going to get smaller and smaller. So when you take the teeter-totter, if this was a derivative options market on Wall Street, and we were talking puts, calls, or any form of complex strategies to handle an investment, okay, let me just put it out there. In a year from now, if I say, okay, if I have a boardroom meeting where none of us are wearing pants, we're sliding tacos around, and I look around the board and said, hey, all right, everybody, and we're having all the financial analysts, the CFAs are sitting around the table, and they're all saying, Rudy, what do we do? I said, look, it's 2022. Printers are now going burr at a higher capacity. We need to focus on the sets from 2020 and 2021 because the newer sets are going to have a higher print run, and it's going to put more downward pressure as the flippers and people really go hardcore, which means also the big box stores at MJ Holdings and the other guys are going to have higher supplies at the local stores around the country, your local Walmart and your local Amazon and LGS. We need to focus on 2020, 2021 era boxes, especially 2020 and maybe even 2019. During the pandemic era, when supply was a disaster, those are the golden goose. That's the era we need to focus on. So right now, when you look at these Pokemon products, from especially in 2020, and even at the beginning of 2021 here, the downside risk reward, the teeter-totter is tilted. The risk is minimal compared to the long-term potential reward. Because even when the printer capacity goes up and some more restocks comes with Fat Pikachu and base sets and Sun and Moons, even if they reprint Evolutions, so what? What's Evolutions going to go? $1,000 a box to $500 a box? Whoop-de-doo, it's still expensive. You see what I'm getting at? Overall, the risk reward is extraordinarily attractive. Because any professional institutional money manager, hedge fund, any guy in a basement like me is going to focus on downside risk. Amateurs and Timmies, they're always going to be, how much money can I make? How quick can I make the money? That's what the amateurs do. The people who deal with large amounts of money have been doing this their whole life. All they focus on is downside risk. And right now, I've never seen such limited downside risk for anyone who's buying at a wholesale, buying at a store, and even if you're buying on the open market for $120 a box, the downside risk is so low. Such a giggity. It's unbelievable.